Hello, everyone. Hello. Clicked on. Yeah, anyways, we are going to look at the news today just for a little bit, and then we're gonna play some Pokemon Fire Red later. And I just wanted to get to, talk with y'all. We haven't done any news stuff, so I thought I would just bring it back just for like a little bit. Let's talk about the news. Let's talk about what's been going on. Pope Leo. We have an American Pope. I guess Donald Trump got his wish. Um, oh shit, this is like Trump announces a major trade deal. Ugh, it's like an hour long. I kind of don't want to watch. Mafia Old Country trailer. Ooh, maybe we'll watch that. Um, yeah, India and Pakistan. India, I think, had just launched rockets or bombs in the near the Pakistani border. I did hear about that. Um, how about we put breaking news? Breaking news. Trump teases big announcement, as big as it gets. All right, let's see. I guess I'll watch that.
30 minutes after the top of the hour, top U.S. officials are expected to meet with their Chinese counterparts in Switzerland this weekend. This is big news for the first set of trade talks since President Trump's tariffs went into effect.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy joins us with more details. Good morning, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
Good morning. And officials here at the White House were able to get their Chinese counterparts to the table to talk about these tariffs without relaxing any of them, which was the plan for the last couple of weeks. So, at least trade wise, this is going to be the biggest weekend since Liberation Day.
What we're going to do in Switzerland is we've agreed to talk. Then on Saturday and Sunday, we will agree what we're going to talk about. My sense is that this will be about de-escalation, not about the big trade deal. But we've got to de-escalate before we can move forward.
Okay. China wants to de-escalate. With the want to engage in de-escalation talks with the U.S. My thoughts about this. I think China. I mean, we are the world's biggest market in the United States. I mean, we consume so much. It is crazy. But China's doing good. They have other markets, other places they can, send their goods to. The US really needs China, honestly. We rely on China so much. And it's just really dumb that Trump has let it get to this point, cuz Trump keeps saying like, "Oh, I'm talking with China. We're talking on the phone, Mr. Xi Jinping. Call me Xi. Call me Xi. I'm here. My phone's open 24 hours, 7 days a week, even on the golf course. We're gonna get a big trade deal with China. China. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be better than Liberation Day. It's gonna be Liberation Day 2.0. We're gonna let the goods flow into America. We're gonna consume." But you know what? He actually said the opposite. He said the other day on what was that, the 100 days interview, 100 days in. "Why do we have to feed the beast?" Trump said. Why? That is so weird. Coming from not only a Republican but from a capitalist. Why why do we need to feed the beast? Why do you need $30 or 3,500 pencils or whatever when you only need five, or five pencils or two or three dolls? Why do you need 30? It's like, bro, why are you restricting the treats of the American people? If they want to buy a bunch of shit, let them buy. I mean, I'm anti-capitalist, but like Trump is the capitalist in this situation. Why is he restricting the capitalist, commerce, greed, ever consuming people Why is he stopping that? You know? I mean, and then these talks are just de-escalation. There's no, at least so far in the video, they have not mentioned that they're gonna lower tariffs. He even said this is de-escalation only. This has nothing to do with the trade war or the tariffs or blah 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 blah. This is just de-escalation talks. De-escalation about what? It is very vague. It could be the trade war that we were forced against with China because of Trump, because he's a fucking idiot. Yeah, like, I don't know, man. This is we're living in strange times, honestly. It's just like, why how do we get here? How did we get here? I mean, I knew Trump was going to be bad. I didn't think he was going to be this terrible in this first 100 days. You know, but Jesus Christ, man, we're so fucked. Honestly, let's see what else.
And the intrigue grows ahead of a Trump trip to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates next week, because we know the president wouldn't go all that way without a belief that he could make a big splash on the world stage. And he claims that is exactly what is about to happen.
We're going to have a very, very big announcement to make. Like, as big as it gets, it is really, really positive. And that announcement will be made either Thursday or Friday or Monday before we leave. But it'll be one of the most important announcements that have been made in many years about a certain subject.
So, a certain subject. It might not have to do with trade. We know that Saudi Arabia, the first stop on his trip, was originally where he hoped.
Dude, this guy needs to shut the fuck up. Like, dude, why are you being so fucking vague, so mysterious and shit? It's like, bro, we the people deserve to fucking know what you're talking about. I mean, yeah, he doesn't want to show his cards. Which, yeah. Fair, he doesn't want to show his cards. But, bro, come on, man. Like, I don't know. I heard supposedly on the Majority Report with Sam Cedar, I heard that supposedly he was thinking of actually lowering the tariffs for Mother's Day as a gift to mothers. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Are you stupid? Like, just fucking take the tariffs off, bro. Like, the fuck you mean? Like, I mean, come on. Let's look at the stock market. How's the stocks? How are the markets look? Go here. NYS. Reject all non-essential. I don't want these mobs. Okay, this is not helpful. Market one. I should have gone on market one. Okay, these are just news. About you, Yahoo Finance. Okay. S&P is up 66 points. The Dow is up 489. That's 0.1%. Wow, this is actually kind of... they're barely recovering. The stock market today, Dow and S&P 500, Nasdaq jump as Trump touts U.S.-UK trade deal and China talks. So this is just because of the trade deal between the U.S. and the U.K. Which, I mean, come on, the U.K., come on, don't help Keir Starmer out here. Keir Starmer is a fucking... He's not even a socialist or a social democrat. Or a Democrat. He's like, he's not even left. I don't know why the Labour Party chose this motherfucker, Keir Starmer. But yeah, anyway, I mean, look at this. We got some top losers. Top gainers. Pony. Huh. Pony AI. Weird. Bitcoin to you. Oh my god, 101,000. That's crazy. Boeing is up 3%. I guess. Warner Brothers. Jesus Christ, look at that dip right here. I mean, I don't care. I don't really care about stocks. I hate stocks. I'm an anti-capitalist. Honestly, this shit, this is all fake. This is all fake. This is all fake money anyways, you know? Oof, look at this Uber one right here. Damn. Like a big nosedive. Hopefully none of you motherfuckers are invested in Uber Technologies. Oh my god. Pitiful.
To talk about the Ukraine war with Vladimir Putin, but that appears to have fizzled out because it's not on any of the schedules that we've seen for next week. So a big announcement tomorrow or Friday. Stay tuned. It might be something for Brian's birthday. I don't know. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we'll see. He could be
Shut
waiting.
up,
Peter,
bro.
am I right? Did he say Middle East though? Was it something in the Middle East? Did I interpret that correctly, or
No,
could it be anything?
it is classic Trump. He is building suspense. So yesterday, just kind of dangle something out there. We will talk about it all day today now, and then tomorrow he can do the big reveal.
And he did rename the Persian Gulf to Gulf of Arabia, because we don't want to give it to Iran. I mean, with
could
just
be a
taking
deal.
it from Iran.
Well, we'll see. If it is something like that, a renaming, we know that renaming the Gulf of Mexico Gulf of America is
It's still the
one
Gulf
of his
of
favorite
Mexico. I don't give a
accomplishments of
shit.
the
That's
first
right.
100
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
He
big
still
sign in
keeps the
Oval
Gulf of
Office.
America
I
mat
know.
next to the desk so that the news outlets that don't want to say Gulf of America have to
Have to
include
put
it
in
in
the
all of their
shot.
video and their photos. So
Right.
it could be.
What do you think it is? Any rumblings that maybe a deal with India, maybe something with Iran?
I mean, if I had a crystal ball, because he said that it was one of the most important announcements in many years about a certain subject, it would seem like he's talking about something that's been going on for a long time. So
Yeah,
either
peace agreement.
Ukraine or the Israel-Hamas war. But there's just no way to know with him.
It's not a war, it's an occupation, brother. I know this is Fox, but still, come on. It is a fucking occupation. It is a fucking genocide. Hamas is a resistance group resisting against their occupiers. Yes, they had very extreme views early on in when they first, came together to form the organization that is now known as Hamas. Yes, they were very extremist and fundamentalist, religious fundamentalists. They have changed. The charter is not the same. They are a resistance group. They have always been a resistance group against the occupying fascist, Zionist, Israeli pariah state. It is a pariah state. I don't care what anyone says. This is a fact. If the South African apartheid was a pariah state, then the Israeli apartheid occupational state is a pariah state as well. Yes. They are doing terrorism. The United States is a sponsor of terrorism, which they sponsor Israel, who continues to do terrorism to the Palestinian population throughout its entire occupation of almost 100 years. I don't care what anyone says. It is a brutal, unforgiving occupation of the Palestinian people who have been living there their entire. Some of these people can literally trace their roots, their ancestry, all the way back to biblical times. Okay? These people have been there for literally generations, years, millennia, and then, here we are, just supporting terrorism, supporting terrorists, like the U.S. always does. They always support terrorism. We supported Osama bin Laden against the communist Russia when the USSR wanted to bring communism to, what was it, Afghanistan and the other places in the Middle East. I'm forgetting which other ones. Yeah, the United States has always sponsored terrorism. The Contras in fucking, what was it, Honduras, El Salvador, one of those Central American countries. I can't remember which one, or not the Contras, the Sandinistas. I can't remember. There's too many. They have too many. The United States sponsors so many terrorist and terror groups throughout the world. It is sickening. I hate that my tax dollars are going to this. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
That we also
It
know
really
that
could be anything.
well, he said the Houthi
Jesus.
rebels are tired of fighting. So I
But
guess
he already announced that, so I don't know if
Yeah.
that counts.
no, it wouldn't count.
Always trying to predict the president. Thanks, Peter.
All right, thanks so much.
I do think it's interesting, and Brian, you noted this when we were starting, that China has caved. Looks like the people protesting in China. President Trump has to be one of the most lucky individuals. He continued to say, hey, just be cool. They're going to be forced to come to the negotiating table, and it looks like it's about to happen.
Yeah, well, we are taxing Chinese imports 145%, those tariffs, and then China hit us back with 125% tariffs. Now, this is the first time that we've had an interaction with China since the inauguration. Remember, they sent the Chinese vice president to the inauguration. This is the first time the two countries have sat down together, so it is big news. You heard Scott Bessent say first they think this will be about de-escalation. And global trade experts told the BBC that they expect the negotiations to take several months.
So Radio Free Asia says that hundreds of employees have taken to the streets in China to demand better pay and challenge the layoffs that they're forced to.
Okay, Radio Free China is literally a U.S. sponsor, a U.S. propaganda arm in Asia. They spout American propaganda. I do not believe. I don't believe anything that Radio Free Asia would say. No.
Digest after the shutdown of Chinese factories because of the manufacturing has slowed down to that degree, heavily anyway between 23 and 25. They also, Goldman Sachs of China, an economist said, Goldman Sachs says they estimate that 16 million jobs are involved in producing goods sold to the U.S. and prices will need to fall for domestic and other foreign policy.
It's working.
So one of the things they're saying is China has to consume more. But China's going, we're not consuming more because you're not paying me enough. And number two is we have terrible retirement benefits, $160 a month. So you want us to live on that. We have to save our money because you're not paying us anything. Also, their Medicare, with their version of Medicare, is awful. So they have low birth rates. They're not getting married. And a whole generation.
Okay, they have low birth rates because of the one-child policy. And they have a much better healthcare system than we do, bro. Our healthcare system is fucking garbage. Like, what? They're just projecting at this point. This is straight up projection. This is the reality here in the United States. You know? What the fuck?
Is called laying down. They are called laying flat. The youth from 18 to 34 are deciding to drop out of school and not have a job, lay flat.
What
Good
could
luck
go
with
wrong?
that, superpower. You know, so they got some problems.
And I think it's this
Yeah, we have bigger problems. We have a fucking insane president who wants to be a fascist dictator, and you guys are fucking following along with it.
force them to the negotiation table as a
Absolutely.
result of that.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
I'm Brian Kilmeade. Please, I'm not. I'm being super for real right now. Oh my god. Let's see, what else can we watch? Should we watch the first American Pope? I kind of don't want to. I'm not. I was really hoping for the Filipino, the Pinoy, first Pinoy Pope. Let's watch this. Breaking down the history of
Tensions
India,
between
Pakistan.
India and Pakistan continue to rise as the two nuclear powers exchange heavy artillery fire for a second day. Pakistani officials say more than 30 have been killed in multiple strikes launched by India yesterday. Retaliation, they say, for a militant attack on tourists, which India blames on Pakistan. For tonight's interview, we are joined by Tanvi Madan, a senior fellow of foreign policy at the Brookings Institution. Thank you so much for being with us. For those people who are just catching up with this conflict, summarize where things stand for us.
We saw some Indian strikes, military strikes, across the border in Pakistan a couple of days ago, or rather last night at this point. These were, the trigger for these were on April 20.
Yeah, right along the border in Kashmir. What the fuck, India, bro? What the fuck, India? What are you doing, bro?
Second, terrorist attacks in a place called Pahalgam, where a number of civilians were killed. This was the largest civilian attack on civilians since the Mumbai attacks of 2008. India has linked this to groups and individuals based in Pakistan and has said that it was retaliating against terrorist infrastructure. Where we stand at this point is the question of whether now
Modi's a
Pakistan
fascist
retaliates
also.
or chooses to take an off-ramp.
Tanvi, remind people why this region has been such a sore point for the two countries for so many years.
This is the state of Kashmir. It was a princely state when India and Pakistan war partitioned. Both sides claim this state. What we have seen is since about there was a war, they fought a number of wars over this disputed state of Kashmir. The part that India claims, the state of Jammu and Kashmir, is where this attack took place on April 22nd. For a number of years since the 1990s, India has accused Pakistan-based terrorist groups of conducting terrorist attacks, not just in the state of Kashmir, but even in other places in India, and targeting not just Indians, but Americans and other country citizens as well.
Sometimes in long-standing conflicts, there are ways to de-escalate when things flare up. Is that possible, and what would you look for to see if de-escalation might be the response?
In some ways, John, because this is long-standing, we have seen India and Pakistan themselves have mechanisms and ability to climb down from an escalation ladder or not go beyond a certain point. These are two rational actors who have something to lose if this gets out into an all-out conflagration or heightened conflict. And so you will see the two sides themselves use some of these mechanisms. You also have had in the past, and you are seeing again, calls from a number of their partners for de-escalation at this point. And right now, the kind of most of that pressure.
Yeah, a lot of people want India and Pakistan to de-escalate because they both have fucking nuclear weapons. I don't know how trigger happy they are with their nuclear weapons. I just hope they're not super trigger happy with their nuclear weapons, you know, because they could fucking cause major environmental and human loss in the process. So yeah, they need to both come to the table and de-escalate like urgently before things get out of hand, before the fascist Modi decides to use a fucking nuke on Pakistan. And Pakistan has the right to defend itself. I think this is technically a first strike on Pakistan from India. I don't think Pakistan, at least from stuff that I've seen and heard, I don't think Pakistan issued the first strike. I think India did. And India, why? Literally why? I get you guys have a lot of history between the two countries because of the colonial rule, but please come to the table. We don't want to see more death and destruction in the Indian subcontinent, especially when both of y'all have fucking nukes, you know. We don't want to see a radiation zone in the Indian subcontinent. So please come to the table. Don't, find a way to, I don't know, do something. You can't hear me? Oh my god. Yeah, that might be. Hello, Harry. I have a problem with my headphones, so I can hear you. You can reply to me in the chat. I will really appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. But yeah, I mean,
Is on Pakistan,
India,
asking it
Pakistan.
not to take further
Crazy.
action.
Crazy.
The question is, can countries like the US, perhaps China, others persuade Pakistan not to respond? Or if they're going to respond, to keep that response below a certain threshold so that you don't see another Indian retaliation to that?
Final 30 seconds. What is the role for the U.S. here, and will it be the same under this new president?
You've seen this president essentially say he does not generally want to get involved. Having said that, you have
I'm
seen
doing all right. I should
several
just type
senior
it just in case you
officials
can't hear me.
speak with their Indian counterparts, with their Pakistani counterparts, show support for India.
Oh my god,
not
someone's ringing the
call,
doorbell.
for it to be restrained, not
I'll be right
condemn
back.
its strikes.
I'm gonna let this
but
keep
having
playing.
said that, also said that now at this point they want to see de-escalation.
Right now, two nuclear-armed nations stand at the precipice of an all-out war. Following a shocking terror attack against Hindu tourists in the disputed region of Kashmir, the bitter South Asian rivals, India and Pakistan, have leapt at each other's throats, exchanging fire, cutting off a critical water supply, and moving military assets in a way that suggests large-scale violence may be imminent. India appears to be building a pretext to strike Pakistan directly. Pakistan is making clear that it will defend itself at any cost, and attempts by the entire rest of the world to bring a stop to the crisis have failed. The fragile peace between India and Pakistan, it is crumbling as we speak. So here's what we all are going to need to know in advance of whatever comes next. Now, before we begin, we've got to issue a key caveat here. Everything that we discuss in today's episode is up to date as of sunrise, Monday the 28th of April in New Delhi and Islamabad. Anything that's happened since that time will not be accounted for in this episode, and in this case, that is especially important to bear in mind. Look, judging by the pace of escalation on both sides going on right now, it's not safe to assume that this conflict will remain in a phase of preparation and build up for any length of time, so do rest assured that if war has already broken out by the time you see this, then we already have an update coming. Now, the current crisis in India and Pakistan began about a week ago on the 22nd of April in a meadow called the Baitaran Valley, a few kilometers away from the resort town of Pahalgam. Now, that town is located in the Himalayan mountains in a region.
Do I play League of Legends? No, no, I don't. No. No, I don't. I unfortunately take a shower. But for real, I don't. Let's see, what else can we watch here? Let's change it to today, I guess. Oof. Pakistan says it down 25 Indian drones. Holy shit. Oh, Kash Patel. Oh my god, yes, Kash Patel. Madeline Dean, FBI Director Kash Patel, clash at House hearing. You're failing, not me. Pak attacks civilians, provokes India for war. A lot of war stuff going on. Oh my god. Indian airports closed. What is this? You want to ask me something about the channel? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, let me know. Oh my god, there's like so much what is this? What is this? I don't think I can show that. Oh wait,
Director
no.
Patel, welcome.
That's like an hour.
Do not feel ill at ease for your tardiness. This is the United States Senate. We are not known for our timeliness.
Apologies.
Thank you, Chairman Rogers, Ranking Member Meng, Chairman Cole, Ranking Member DeLauro. And thank you, Mr. Patel,
Oh,
for your
you know what?
testimony and
No,
for being here today.
I'm good.
I've been looking at the President's 120-word FBI budget request, the so-called skinny, I'll call it Ozempic request, that states that, quote, the undoing of the weaponization of the FBI is one of the administration's top priorities. The weaponization of the FBI that is something that deeply concerns me. It should concern all of us. And yet, since taking office, President Trump has been on a revenge tour. He has targeted individuals, universities, law firms, with executive orders to cut them out or to make them come under his will. He has used ICE to disappear U.S. citizens without due process, and he's fully ignored a unanimous Supreme Court order, and then over the weekend wasn't sure if he was obligated to uphold the Constitution of the United States. In your book, your recent book, Government Gangsters, you include an appendix with a list of names that
Oh my
people
god, Kash
have
Patel has a
referred to as
book
an
that's
enemies list.
actually
Now,
kind
I
of
know
funny.
you will claim it's just an appendix, not an enemies list. So let's focus on how the president sees it, on what the president calls it. And you proudly display his quote on the front cover of your book. The president calls this a brilliant roadmap, a blueprint. And I have not even raised your storied children's book, The Plot Against the King. It concerns me how many
Oh my
people from
god,
this
yeah.
blueprint have been
Kash
targeted
Patel is
with
insane,
executive
literally.
orders and FBI investigations. The FBI cannot be weaponized, and under your leadership, it has been nothing but a weapon alongside the president to go after the president's perceived opponents, to stifle dissent and free speech. A few weeks ago, as we saw through a social media post that you quickly deleted, the FBI arrested a judge in Wisconsin for correctly asking ICE officials if they had a judicial warrant instead of an administrative warrant, which they did not have. Despite this judge following the law, on the morning of April the 25th, the FBI arrested the judge in an escalation of the weaponization of the FBI under your leadership. Let me be clear. A functioning democracy does not lock up judges.
Yeah.
I am gravely concerned about the utter lack of independence of the FBI.
Not only locking up judges, but locking up judges is setting a dangerous precedent. It sets a dangerous how should I say? It could set up a dangerous tradition or custom, or even normalizing the breaking down of democracy. You know, if you target the courts, then what is there? There's no law. There's no law and order, which supposedly Trump is the law and order president. I mean, he literally said it the other day when he was announcing that he wanted to open Alcatraz prison up again because he saw the movie or some stupid shit like that supposedly. But yeah, like you can't be the law and order guy and then go around arresting judges just because they don't agree with you and they don't want to, do the disgusting dirty work for you. They actually want to do some actual legal work and due process of people that Trump is trying to incarcerate unjustifiably, I mean, he has no good reason to go after any immigrant, whether they be legal or illegal, at all. No matter if you're an immigrant and you're here legally or illegally, you have the right to due process. It is in the Constitution, and it was also a precedent that the Supreme Court actually placed in effect, that everyone, if whether you're a citizen or not, immigrant, legal or illegal, you must have due process and go through the law, through the court system, to find if you're, guilty or innocent. And if Trump starts jailing the judges are going to be scared and then just do whatever Trump says, which it shouldn't. The courts, the judiciary branch is supposed to be separate from the executive branch. If they're intertwined together, or not really intertwined, it's really the executive telling the courts what to do, always badgering down on the courts, telling them what to do, what to say, how to rule, is just overall bad. It's crazy. You can, like, Hassan brought up a really good point the other day when I was watching his stream. If the due process is good, whether you actually did bad shit or not, due process is good. Due process is what saved Trump's ass when he was when they were doing the impeachment proceedings on him. Due process saved this man's ass. If there was no due process, then Congress could have just sent his ass to prison, and the Democrats could have done the same thing. Joe Biden could have done the same thing. If there was no due process, they could have just taken his ass straight to fucking jail, or straight to fucking El Salvador, like he's doing to a bunch of other people who are not guilty. ICE is literally doing the same thing that Bukele told his police officers to do, is to target people with tattoos, which in El Salvador, when Bukele did this in El Salvador, it was like around 70% of the people that he had jailed because they had tattoos, 70% of those people were not affiliated with Tren de Aragua whatsoever, or MS-13, or any of those other, cartel organizations, those gangster cartel organizations. They had no ties. 70% of the people that he incarcerated with tattoos did not have any affiliation with any cartel. Not MS-13, not Tren de Aragua, nothing, no one. They simply jailed them because they had tattoos, and they associated the tattoos with those cartels, even if those tattoos had nothing to do with the cartels. Just like Kilmar, Arbrego Garcia, he had tattoos. They picked them up. They're trying to claim that tattoos on his knuckles are interpreted as MS-13, which they are not. ICE is interpreting them that way. Homan is interpreting them that way. Trump's, people in Trump's circle are interpreting that way and giving it to Trump. And Trump literally thought that the MS-13 was, oh God, no, bro. I do not want this. First time chatter. No. Yeah, just no, bro. Don't do that. Anyways, yeah. And now Trump is having ICE do the same thing. They're picking up people with tattoos who have nothing to do with MS-13 or Chandragua. They're literally jailed and deported and sent a man to Seacall, the worst prison facility in Central America and probably in South America and in the probably the whole world. Literally, these people are Seacall is, I think, honestly the worst fucking prison ever. The worst super max, super jail, super prison ever. It's just, God, it's so. It's just so bad, you know. And this is our president. This is who we have to fucking, you know. This sucks. It really. It's sad.
And it's
Is what it
weaponization
is.
under your leadership. I am concerned that the president is using this book, your book, as a blueprint, as he has said. It's a blueprint for revenge.
You want me to react to your game? KXEJZ? Yeah, you know what? If you send the link, I'm down. If you send me the link, I'm totally down. Okay, I'm not gonna put this guy on blast here. But yeah, if you send the link, I will totally react. Send link. I'm down.
I am concerned that your eagerness,
I'll probably watch it a little
childlike
later after
giddiness to
some of the
carry
news, though.
out the president's revenge tour. You've shown yourself to be unserious in your statements.
Yeah, Kash Patel's like fucking literally a maniac. Also,
before you were sworn
know?
in and some after. You've shown yourself unfit to lead this important
yeah, like, I think
agency.
Kash Patel's like
I was an
literally a
impeachment
conspiracy
manager for
theorist.
President Trump's